Hey guys, what is going on? It's Ando, and today we've got probably, and I know we say this all the time, but probably the biggest news that has ever happened in this game. And I say that because Squad Arena has been in this game since the beginning, basically. I mean, before even guilds were announced. So, this is a huge game mode that's coming to change. But before we get into all that, guys, I just want to thank you guys for your guys' support. We're getting closer to 1,000. If you guys haven't subbed to the channel yet, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's just an awesome little goal that I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And we'll probably do like a little giveaway or something like that for it. But I appreciate all your guys' support. Also, if you guys want to support the channel for free, leaving a like or a comment or just asking a question, I try to answer all the comments that I can, or at least reply back to all of them. And so, yeah, just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so I did like a 3-hour stream on this. I've talked about this a lot. And as I've let this kind of digest, I just want to kind of give an overarching theme on this. And I think in general, this is a better or a good thing for the game. I won't deny there's a few things that I want to come out forward and say. I haven't done the math exactly, but I do believe that I haven't done the math exactly, but I do believe that there will be less crystals out there circulating. And what does that mean? We'll just throw out some random numbers. Again, they're completely arbitrary. Haven't actually done the math on it, but let's just say based off of how many shards there are versus how many people are getting a payout every hour, versus how many, just basically how many crystals CG is actually giving out. They actually gave a figure for this one time, but let's just say it's $1 million worth of crystals, right? Given out to the player base every single day, for all the different rewards in Squad Arena. Now, right now, the way that it is yes, some people are going to get more, some people are going to get less, some people are going to stay about the same. But we'll just say that the aggregate player base, gets 1 million crystals per day. This would take the crystals and maybe make it only $750,000 of crystals per day. And again, probably the hopes of this is going to be that, hey, hopefully this crystals will become a little bit more incentivized or rare, in which case people will spend or be willing to spend on said crystals. So we can't deny that fact, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, this is 1000% a player friendly move. Like I said, some people are going to gain massively from this. Some people are going to lose massively from this. And we'll kind of get into that. So I'm not going to sit here and read, guys. If you guys have tried reading this, there's a lot of information. They're going to have a Q&A on the forums in like 2 or 3 days. So if you guys have any really questions on that, or you guys can either ask me or just take it straight from the source, from them. But I like I said, I can summarize this pretty well. So we're going to go through it relatively quickly. All right, so matchmaking is changing, guys. GP, I made a GP matchmaking GAC video like, I don't know, probably close to a year ago now. And that's completely gone, right? Like GP, okay, I won't say completely gone. I misspoke. We're going to get that. That's how we're going to be kind of centered this first time. But basically how we're going to be matched up is kind of more or less like how TW's matched up. It's just going to be wins and losses. If you have more wins than losses, you're going to find yourself fighting people that have more wins than losses. Doesn't really matter the GP. Now, it says that it's going to be completely irrelevant. I do think that like it's not like, your 1.5 million GP account went 3-0 on week 1, and your 7 million account went 3-0 as well. Like, you guys are going to get matched up. No, it's not anything like that. I don't think, at least not that Jurassic. I think there probably is something that's like saying, hey, let's try to get somewhere close before we stabilize. But there will be wild swings. This is based off of a ladder system. Every time that I've ever played a game with a ladder system, there are wild swings, especially early on in the season. But things will stabilize, right? We're going to find where we are, where we kind of belong, each one of us. And that's going to be based off of skill. That's going to be based off of our roster. That's going to be based off of our mods, right? We're going to kind of carve our own little area in which we can kind of fight. And obviously roster upgrades, mod upgrades, just overall caring or lack of caring is going to start to either drop or raise us from that little carved out spot that we have. But once we hit that stabilization phase, it really is going to be a spot where you're not going to move as much as you used to potentially. So yep, just kind of talking about that. They did away with the divisions. There's no Div 1, Div 2 kind of thing. We have leagues now, and within those leagues, we have divisions. So, your league is Erodium, your division is 3, right? So I'm Erodium 3. That just kind of shows you where you're at. I'm Kyber 5, I'm Kyber 1. And that is going to be kind of how we need to start elaborating and talking about things, right? Again, like they're going to clarify some things. We don't know what exactly, boosts us up or takes us back down other than the wins and losses, but we don't know how many. And again, in the beginning, at least this is how ladder systems that I've played worked. It's going to be wild swings there at the beginning, right? It's going to, and then it's going to stabilize as the season goes. So you might go 2-1 the first opening round and be in Kyber 3 when you started, and then be in Erodium 1. You might, on match 12, you might go 2-1 again, and you might have been Kyber 3 and stayed in Kyber 3. Or you could have even potentially, depending on how the people above you did, you could potentially be boosted up to Kyber 2 by even just going 2-1, right? So losses are going to fluctuate as the season goes on, and they're going to stabilize. So at least that's how things in ladder systems worked before. And also for those that aren't aware of ladder systems too, and the skill rating piece of it, basically how it works is, hey, the game says like, hey, you should win this based off of your ranking, based off of how the match looks like to us, right? So they're going to say, hey, you're the most likely to win. You're, number 5 in Kyber 2, and this guy's number 200 in Kyber 2. And by him losing, or by him beating you, you might fall really, really far down, right? Like way further than you think, and he might get boosted way up too. So it's kind of swings, and again, it's kind of factoring into this whole like, hey, who was supposed to win? So that's it for those of the people that have never played a ladder. Again, we don't know though, because they haven't really elaborated, but that's just previous stuff that I've gone through in different games. Okay. Scoring changes, the big ones, guys. No defense points for setting anymore. So you're not going to just auto deploy and be like, oh, wait, cool, we both auto deployed and now I win. That could still, I guess, potentially happen, but you're going to start being paired up with more auto deploys, I guess. And you both are going to have 0 points because that doesn't go. Now, here's the other thing that I was kind of worried about when I heard that is, hey, I don't want a guy that's 8 million GP just tanking his way all the way down to Carbonite League, and then a guy that's 1 million GP, his first GAC is facing a guy that's 8 million GP, that's in the Carbonite League with him, and he can't beat it. So they both tie, and yeah, he's gonna get they tie, and the guy with 8 million GP wins. But as long as the guy that attempts, he's gonna get 10 points. So that's a new thing, right? It doesn't matter if you win, if you lose, or if you fail, or whatever, timeout, draw, whatever you want to come up with. As long as you attempt an attack, you're going to get 10 points. So that's going to be a new meme. Obviously, I just thought about that because we're going to go 10 points to Gryffindor. And then we're also going to get a points per defeated character, 1 per each one. So in typically the old, max for bringing in a 5-man squad was a 60 with full health and protection banners. Now it's going to be a 65. And in 3v3, I believe it was a 54. Now it'll be a 57. So those are going to be some additional banners that we get from just defeating the opponent's character. Again, big note that there's no defensive set. Okay. So reward changes, guys. This is where the big stuff is happening, right? And this is what I was talking about earlier. Squad Arena dead, basically. So here's the deal, guys. We're going to get crystal payouts now from GAC. Like I said, some people are going to win from this, some people are going to lose from this, some people are going to stay largely the same. Just kind of the way it is. So I'm going to bring up some kind of points to talk about. If you love GAC and you never tried at Squad Arena, you're likely to end up with quite a bit more crystals. If you, I gotta try to remember this order. If you hate GAC and you hate Squad Arena, you're likely to end up with more crystals. If you love Squad Arena and you love GAC, you're probably mostly going to be the same. And if you hated GAC and you loved Squad Arena, you are likely going to lose out on a lot of crystals. Now, again, I know that was kind of a lot to follow, so I'll kind of break it down in different ways. My ult, he's like 1.5 million GP, right? He's probably going to be down here in one of these Carbonite leagues. I don't play Squad Arena at all. I get 40 crystals a day just because I'm like rank 1000 something. And just by being in GAC, which remember, GAC is technically 5 weeks long. There's 4 weeks that you're playing it. But just by being in Carbonite 1, let's just say that that's where I'm at. I think that is where I'm at. I'm going to get 75 crystals a day, right? Like, even if I don't play it at all, really. And that's kind of undershooting it too. Because even if I don't play it at all and I lose, I'm also actually going to get like basically, 20 extra crystals per the matches. You multiply that by 12. And then because I went 0-3, I'm also going to actually get 100 crystals. And then at the end of the season, again, just because of the league that I'm in, I'm going to be 290 crystals. Again, so that just kind of points out that one. Now, let's flip the script and say that you were one of those guys that spent a ton of money and you just went out and you got a GL like the first thing and you just been locked down on that spot, that #1 spot in Squad Arena. This is going to be tough for you. It really is, like, especially for the new guys. And this is really for the new guys. For those guys that were locking down 500 crystals a day, again, a lot of times those guys don't end up doing so well in GAC because they've roster bloated so much to get a Galactic Legend, but the payoff was Squad Arena. In this case, right, like it's not, you're not going to make it, right? Like you being even 3 million GP and being in Bronzium, right? They even kind of break it down here, right? Like 293 crystals. We'll just say like you're in Chromium 5 at 3 million GP, which I don't know if that's true. But you're going to be averaging about 293 crystals a day. That's, you're missing out on 200 crystals a day over the course of a month. That's going to play out quite a bit. You're going to notice quite a few crystals. So really, the guys that aren't going to be kind of unchanged in this all, in my opinion, is going to be the guys that are like Div 1, Div 2, and potentially Div 3 guys. Because they're going to get, in this Kyber League, just by basically GP alone, just because they have squads available. And like I said, as long as you're not in a Rhodium 1, based off their math, right, like it seems like you're going to get around 500 crystals a day. And there's actually a better graph that shows this in our Discord. If you guys want to check it out, link is in the description below. It's made by a guy that at least that I think it's the same guy that used to come out to our streams, Fadalorian, so shout out to him. But basically, you really are needing to push the Kyber. And I just don't think that people that are 5.5 million GP or below are really going to be pushing for this spot or have a high chance of pushing for this spot, if I'm just being honest. But we'll see how it actually shakes out whenever it comes down. But yeah, if you were a kind of guy that just didn't care about Squad Arena, didn't really play GAC, this is like kind of a win because you're still going to spend the exact amount of time caring, which was basically nothing, and you're going to get probably more crystals for not caring. But yeah, it definitely hurts, I think, or helps the kind of extremes of this. So talked enough about that. We'll talk a little bit more. Again, kind of reiterating about this. This is actually something that I'm looking forward to, at least in this part of this, right? Squad Arena climbs were kind of a chore. I had to do it because that was where my crystals came from. Now I can essentially take the time that I was doing Squad Arena, climbs, and just devote it towards GAC. This is again just a re-shifting of my time into something else, right? And this is kind of what happened with Conquest, kind of what happened with TW. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to be Kyber 1. Might not even be Kyber 2, but if I can still stay in Kyber, which I do think that it's going to happen for me, I'm going to actually be on the positive side of this. And again, I know like it's tough whenever you're hearing that from me, saying about how cool my crystal income is, but yours just got nerfed by a lot. I completely understand that, but I think for a lot of people, their crystal amounts are gonna relatively stay the same or slightly increase in many cases. So that's just kind of my take on it right now. We'll see how it plays out though, right? I could be wrong on this. Okay, so the other thing that I really like about this is we used to get Kyber and Bronzium boxes based on your division, right? So your guys that were Division 8, they didn't get as much gear, they didn't get as much crystals, they didn't get much stuff in their boxes when they upgraded or when they did well or whatever the case is. Now that is not true. Like you could be right. So that 1.5 million GP account that I have, that it's actually pretty good at GAC, right? If I go 3-0 in that, I'm going to make 750 crystals. It doesn't matter if I'm Carbonite 1 or if I'm in my Division 1 account, that's in Kyber 1, right? Going 3-0 is 750 crystals, no matter where you're at. So that's another thing that I actually like. And again, the boxes aren't separated, right? The 1.5 million GP account might get 3 Zetas. My Division 1 account might go, might be ranked 5 in that bracket, and I'm only going to get 1 Zeta. So this is a way that, like, also if you're decent at GAC, you're going to eventually, kind of catch up a little bit, because, you're going to eventually hit a wall, and you're eventually going to go 1 and 2. You're going to go 2 and 1 or 0 and 3, or whatever. But until that point happens, right, you're actually increasing the crystal amount quite a bit by just winning. So there's definitely a priority in winning in this game mode now. No Omicrons coming to GAC reward boxes, it seems. No droid brains coming to GAC reward boxes. So one thing that is kind of still kind of against GAC, I will say, in the defense of, hey, I hate GAC, is there's not an exclusive, and exclusives are big. That's why Conquest is important. Like, it's not truly the rewards that you get, it's the shards that you're getting. It's the fact that you're getting a pretty meta character early. That's really why Conquest is important. The additional stuff, the slicing materials, the Omicrons and stuff like that are nice and make you feel better, but truly it is the character shards that make that event worth it. And Galactic Challenge is kind of the same way with Omicrons, just because, again, they're a little bit more exclusive. They're available in other things, but they're kind of an exclusive for right now. And TW is an exclusive for R9. A lot of people will say, well, I don't care about R9. Well, people will whenever you need it for a Galactic Legend, if that's what you're chasing after. So just a little something to think about. Okay, so no one cares about credits. Not to say that like people don't need them, but I mean, it's just kind of scaling again. Same thing with the GAC tokens. So as we move on through all this, I just want to, again, speed through this. Squad Arena, not getting crystals from it anymore. The way that I read this, and it's kind of confusing, but I think that this is what it's trying to say. Excuse me. No more crystals. You're still going to get your Squad Arena tokens. They're going to kind of redo or re-add into the Squad Arena shipments some gear. And this is what it's saying that it's going to cost. So I think like the top guy gets 500 or something like that. So you'll be able to buy, it looks like 5 Nubian scanners for 385, and then you can maybe with that same 500 you can buy some Mark 1 stuff down here. So that's the way that I read it. Again, I was kind of confused when I first read it, but I think that's what they're trying to say. And then really like this is where this is kind of what I was talking about, that GP doesn't matter except for like the first one. So this is where you need to come if you want to see what it is, right? So again, my 1.5 million GP, I was right. I'll be in Carbonite 1 to start it off with. Depending on how well I do, I might get upgraded to Bronzium 5. I might get lowered to Carbonite 2. We don't know that part again, or we don't know that part because they haven't told us that part. But that's going to be something to come out in the next few days. And my 1 million account, or my Division 1 account, is going to be in Kyber 1. Big thing to note, guys, you guys really need to get in here and look, or just look on it right now. I'll just kind of try to get most of this in there. These aren't aligned with the current divisions right now. The current divisions. So this is going to be huge whenever we go into what's next and how you can kind of prepare for this. So recognize that all of these are Kyber, right? So Kyber is from, whatever the top GP in the game is, 10 million to 5.6 million. And there are 11 squads and 2 fleets in Kyber, right? So it's basically the Division 1 layout. 4-4-3-2 for the fleets back there. And so for me, who's been playing in Division 1, I'm completely ready for this, right? For the guy that's 5.6 million, you guys are going to come up with squads that are like Ewoks and Rogue One and, Jawas and stuff like that, because your squads and your roster just aren't tuned to this right now. And this is where things are going to get kind of, I think, bad for the people that aren't, they're trying to make sure they stay in Kyber, because that's where the, like your crystals kind of equal out. It's going to be really easy for a guy like me. Let's just say a guy like me. I'll lose a few, because I just don't care. But then I realize, like, oh, I'm 1 loss away from losing out Kyber. Oh, okay, like I'm just gonna set, like, the full middle finger defense and throw my 6 GLs on defense, and I will just clear one of his zones, and the other guy that's 5.6 million in Kyber 5 can't really attack me, right? And again, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's a great way to go about this, but I'm just saying, like, that might be a situation that we're faced with moving forward. Definitely gonna be interested what happens with my 5.1 million GP account, right? So it's down, gonna be in Erodium 3. I'm gonna be doing a lot of these streams on Twitch, so we'll kind of see how this feels. But that's a big thing to note, guys. Like, just you need to look at where you're gonna be in the league, see how many defense teams that you're placing, prepare those teams. Like I said, the last, preparing GAC, put them in your squad loadout, put it as unique only, so you kind of know. And remember that you're gonna need 2 times that. So if you're Kyber, you're gonna need 22 squads at least, because you might have to double tap a team or 2. If you're Erodium and you're sitting here and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm only 4.6 million GP, but I need to have 18 teams. Yeah, there's gonna be some teams that you're gonna have to try to maybe, try and kind of finagle and understand that you're probably gonna be putting some gear 8s on some defense again, with the just the knowledge that, hey, like, I'm going to get full cleared. It's kind of what it is. But hopefully I can beat them. And then this is the 3v3 squads as well. They closed with saying that, okay, it's a lot to digest. And it is. Hopefully I did a decent job recapping it, guys. It's a ton of stuff. And, like, I didn't even barely cover probably some of the nuanced stuff. But I just try to hit the main points. And like I said, hopefully I did an all right job. You guys have stuck it out this far in the video. Thank you guys so much, man. You guys are awesome. We'll catch you guys in the next video. There's a Darth Talon kit reveal that will be coming out soon. I'll kind of do my analysis on there. It looks like she's for GAC, so it seems like it works out perfectly for this. And thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.